What up guys, this is Blue and welcome to my channel. This is a solo Valtan guide. A few people have requested that I made guides thanks to my They Mine raid lading, and I found this to be the perfect opportunity to hop right in there with the new solo raids that have been added to the game. When you first hop into a raid, you'll see that there are a few options to select as a solo raid buff. I will be using increased stagger damage. The reason I chose this is because it helps ease some of the stagger windows and adds additional staggered windows throughout the fight. I think the extra Sidereal meter gain is really nice if you're lacking in damage. The back attack bonus is currently bugged and not working. On the top left here, you'll see a Sidereal meter, which I have cropped out of my gameplay. The first interaction, Thyrane, which by default is Control Z, does a lot of damage, whereas Way, by default Control X, does a lot of stagger and a little bit of damage. The third option, Sidereal Balthor, which is by default Control C, gives push immunity. At around 45 bars, the boss will teleport to the center and become DR'd. Shortly after, 2 orbs will appear in both red and blue. These will do damage if you get too close, so stay away. The next mechanic that happens will happen at 30 bars and again at 15 bars. This is a stagger check. The boss will teleport to the middle and there will be a little dialogue text below it showing that you need to collect the orbs. You need to rotate around the boss while collecting the orbs in a specific order, being blue, red, or red, blue, red, blue. The order doesn't matter as long as you don't pick 2 of the same colors. I like to start at 6 and rotate around. You can also use a whirlwind here if you need additional stagger. The next mechanic is a repeat of 30 bars, but afterwards you need to run out and dodge the explosions. Most people will run towards 6 o'clock to avoid the puddles and the AoEs coming from the boss. Gate 1 doesn't have a lot of mechanics, but you are rotating between 3 wolves and a few general patterns. I'm not going to go over every general pattern, but I will show most of them. I like to call this pattern Skittles. The boss summons these circles on the floor that will explode over time, knocking you up. You can move around the circles and continue damaging. When fighting the red wolf, you can summon a tornado that will chase you around. Try to not run into a wall and give yourself no space to run. When fighting the purple wolf, pay attention to his front and back indicators. He will throw out these discs that start at cardinals, intercardinals, and then cardinals again. Red lines. When the boss does a little roar, you'll see red telegraphs appearing on the floor, and then the boss will do a backflip into 3 more lines. Getting hit by the red wolf also applies a debuff. When you get hit a 3rd time, you will cause a bleed line on the floor. Out and in. In solo mode, a red circle telegraph appears under the boss's feet. Try to run out and then back in to avoid the outer explosion. Teleport. When the boss teleports, he is aggroed onto a player and will reappear close to where they are standing. Try to bring the boss off of the walls during this. Avoid the red telegraph on the floor by getting out. 2 swipes and puddle. Pay attention to the wolf's hand to see what color it is glowing. Red drops a fire puddle on the floor, which will then explode and knock you up. Blue throws a puddle on the floor. When this explodes, I spacebar in to avoid getting frozen. If you are hit by this, another wave will spawn from your position. Green in hand. When this drops on the floor, there will be a safe spot inside the donut. Triple dash. The boss will track you and try to dash up to 3 times total. Grab. If you are grabbed by the blue telegraph, the boss will deal damage. Simply avoid the blue on the floor. There are no counters in the normal and hard mode version of this raid, but there are in solo. Some of these telegraphs are very fast and a little complicated to hit in my opinion. Although the /forward seems to have a long counter window and can be delayed. That's all for Gate 1. As for Sidereal usages, personally I would just send Thyrane for damage, or if you need help during the 30 or 15 bar mechanic, you may use Way. That is all for Valtan Gate 1. I plan on making guides for all solo raids, so stay tuned for that. If you guys would like to see more, please follow me on my Twitch channel, which you can find down below. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.